you want to make money online as a student, yes, it is amazing. That's where I started from, offering my services in exchange for money. But also building something that can give you money irrespective of someone else's need. It's going to save you in the long run. 6 years ago, when I gained admission into uni, I had to find out a way to not depend on my father's allowance, because the thing is, someone like me that is very beautiful, high maintenance, I knew that I needed things and I could not depend on the money my dad was giving me. Not that it was not enough, but they're not going to give you more than what they think you need, right? And you can't just go and start asking them for your extravagant needs. So I needed to make that extra money for myself. And that was what made me to start the search of ways to make money as a student. So without further ado, in this video, I'm going to tell you things that I did to put money in my pocket. Maybe you can learn one or two things from them. You can share that with people who you feel like they are students as well and are looking for how to up their finances. And with that, let's get into the video. So before we move in, if this is your first time stopping by, my name is Margaret and I am a pharmacist, content creator, digital marketer, entrepreneur of different businesses. And I'm generally interested in telling people how to make money online because that's like the fundamentals of this life. I'm also interested in telling you how to live healthier, because if you are grinding day in, day out and you're not looking after yourself, at the end of the day, health is more important than wealth. And the last thing is sharing life as it is from my point of view. And if that is something you're interested in seeing or knowing more about, I think this video is going to serve what I want it to serve. So you should settle in, because we're going to be talking about the ways you can make money online as a student. So the first thing that I thought about, let me just give you a little bit of my backstory, how it started and how I even got into this whole thing. I think late 2019, I was dead as broke, and that was when I just got admission to study pharmacy, and I knew that this wasn't going to work out. The agreements between me and my parents that it's only when I'm going back to school I get some allowance and all of that stuff. So I just knew that I had to start looking for ways to make money. I started checking for how people who are in college in the UK, the US, how I can help them to do their assignments, different kinds of keywords. I was just popping and throwing anything at Google to see what would actually make sense. I was a good math student. I got an A1 in my WAEC for maths and further maths. And I was like, okay, since I understand and know maths that well, let me see if I can help people with their maths assignments. That was what inspired me to even start searching online on ways I could make money, because I knew that if I help people to do something like that, I would, get something in return. So I started searching and that didn't go well at all. I didn't see what I was looking for and it was really hard for me to break into. So I just kind of like, I kept on telling people around me that I wanted to do something online, but as it wasn't coming and school was starting, I just like, okay, let me just focus and get back into school. Maybe something will pop up later. And then I got back into school and I started doing classes, and then COVID came 2020 and all of us were sent home. And at that period was when I saw a flyer talking about freelance writing. And I was like, okay. And my teachers in high school didn't make me feel like I was a strong English student. And I do not believe, considering that most of the money that I made after high school came from English. Yeah, but then so when I saw the freelance writing flyer, I was like, are you sure this about me? I don't know about this. But I was really, really trying to see if, okay, I could even write essays. I remember that was also another thing I was looking at, not just maths. And then I saw freelance writing, and I was like, oh my God. And I had just prayed about it. And I saw that flyer and I was like, oh God, is this a sign? So I just decided to pay, because it was like, I saw it on a WhatsApp status. I was like, okay, let me just pay for this and see how it turns out. And I paid. I remember that when I paid, I didn't have time to actually follow through with that class. And so I was like, okay, I don't have time to follow through. I've already paid. As at that time, it was not a lot of money. And I was like, okay, let me just do this. I lent or borrowed money from my mom and told her, mom, please, I would pay you back. I didn't have any source of income. How I was going to pay my mom back, I had no idea. I just wanted to take the leap of faith and try out this course. And I did, but I wasn't able to join the classes, so I was only reliant on the recordings and jumbling school at the end of the day. It was a chaos. So when they sent us back home for COVID, I had time to go back to the classes. Now I started taking those classes, I started to ask questions, and eventually I got a job in content writing. And at that time, it was on LinkedIn. That was the first place I got a job from, LinkedIn. And I had a very shitty profile, But I just went to LinkedIn and I typed content writing jobs. That was literally it. And I saw a host of posts, and one of them I clicked and followed through with it, and I got the job. And it was giving me like topics. The client was giving me topics, right? Like about all right, like 600 words. I had no experience in content writing, like, but I just knew that I wanted to do something to make money. So, when you want to do something, you are hell bent on making sure that that thing succeeds. So I was like, okay, um, let me try this out. I worked with the clients for like 3 days. Maybe because I was so broke. Maybe because I was so broke and I was giving them the assignments on time, meeting up with the deadlines, they fired me after 3 days. Yes. At that time, they were just paying me 1,000 naira per blog post. And after 3 days, they didn't give me any assignments again, and that was the end of it. So I was back to no job. And even at that time, that money was a lot of money for me. So I was like, okay, so I'm jobless again. How do I move from here? And then I started to go on Facebook. I was grinding. That 2020 period was my. I was. You could mistake me for a blender because the way I was grinding. Anyways, I got into Facebook and I joined a content writing jobs group. I started to look at different requests that people were having, and there was one night where I was not going to sleep. I just told myself that I am going to die on this hill if it means I have to be for me to get a job. And so I was checking posts, and there was one that just popped up and immediately came out. I was like, oh my God, this is it. I went into Messenger, sent them a message, and immediately, just like that, I got the job. Now, at that time, the client was paying me $5 per product review. It was, Amazon product reviews. So, I started to do that, and then after 1 month, I made $300. That was like, wow. To me, I was like, from 1,000 naira blog post to $300 in a month. And then from there, I got another client on Facebook. I was getting a couple of clients on Facebook. And from there, I moved on to my first high paying job with Very Well Health. I was paying like, the money that I was getting from the Facebook first client in a month is the kind of payments Very Well Health was giving me per article. So it was like, what? I couldn't believe it in just 1 year. And then, I started to work with them for a while, and then I got WebMD, Medical News Today, Healthline, and the list goes on. Because I was in the health field, it just made sense for me to settle into being a health writer, yeah. And I got a lot of clients, COVID time, a lot of companies were looking for freelance writers, and I was just well positioned because I had experience, I had, you know, the portfolio to show that I knew what I was doing, and I was also hardworking. So I still am hardworking, but I put in the work to make sure that every single thing I did for someone, they didn't have any or more reasons to complain. That was one of the things that just made me money in uni, content writing. Yeah. I also did after content writing for like 2 3 years, I started to get into video. And so, when you start doing video, you would eventually be exposed to people who need content creators or video editors. And so that was also another thing that I did that gave me money. Video editing, content creation. I dabbled into Web3, which is like another story for another day. But I did dabble into Web3 with my content creation skills, and I was paid a handsome amount of money for different projects to create videos for them. And yeah, that really helped me as well. One thing about Web3 is that there's so many ways to make money in Web3. You could create content for people, you could write for people, design every single thing that you normally do for Web3 projects, which have a bigger budget. So it's not really difficult for them to pay you, and they don't really have this location restriction. Yes, it is everywhere, but when it comes to Web3, because of how easy it is to make payments, when it comes to sending you money, it's not a problem. Let me put it like that. So Web3 was a good experience in terms of my content creation journey. I also did, and I still am doing, affiliate marketing for my blog. So post-COVID, a lot of these companies pulled back their contracts. They were no longer doing, more like rescinded their contracts with us, international writers. And so I had to look for a way out, and I decided to start a blog. Knowing that I had experience writing for a lot of brands, I decided to start my own health blog. And within a year, I got monetized, and I started to, affiliate for Amazon, sell products for them and all of that stuff. So my blog gives me money, even though I'm still trying to build my blog to be giving me as much as I was earning with these companies. I can tell you that that is one of the things that introduced me to building income systems that are independent of another person's pocket, like the content creation industry, blogging, videos like YouTube, maybe different other kinds of things. Even Twitter, creating content on Twitter pays you. TikTok in some countries pays you. So you can understand what I'm trying to say. If you want to make money online as a student, yes, it is amazing. That's where I started from, offering my services in exchange for money. But also building something that can give you money irrespective of someone else's mood. Because sometimes your clients can just wake up and they're like, they don't want you anymore. It's going to save you in the long run. In my own opinion, because I don't want this video to be so long, me rambling over and over and over again, I made money from content writing, affiliate marketing, content creation, video editing, and I consider myself as a full stack marketer, which means I have a range of marketing skills that I can monetize at any time. AI, automations, email marketing, list it. So if you know you want to succeed in the money making industry, especially as a student who doesn't have a certification or degree, I'll advise that you start with, getting a skill. Ask yourself, what do I want to do? Go online, find a skill, or you can also join my community. I have a digital marketing community called Marketing Hollow, where I try to tutor, guide people, get skills, learn how to monetize what you already know, and make yourself some. So yes, I'll leave the link to joining my community, my paid community, in the description box below. But aside, yes, after I finish learning a skill, I'll tell you the next thing is to start being vocal about what you know. Be on social media, open a LinkedIn account, optimize your LinkedIn profile. If you know you're interested in learning how to optimize your LinkedIn and make it work for you, you can leave it in the comment section and I will make a video talking, I'll showing you what I did and what I have taught over the years about LinkedIn. Now, after you open your LinkedIn account, you open maybe another supplementary account. Be active. Don't just be a post and ghost. Be active on the platform, be posting, be networking with people. Try to talk to people because you never know what you say to someone that is going to help them to refer you to your dream job. And then just show up, never give up, because it's not a guarantee that, oh, you know this skill, or that means that you're going to get a client the next day. You can have a skill and it's going to take a long time before you even find something else that will connect you to what you're supposed to be doing. You could learn content writing because it worked out for me and helped me to get a huge amount of assets. But that may not be what you are supposed to be doing. So trying to find your footing in content writing could expose you to what you are actually supposed to be doing that will make you successful and will give you that amount of money that you're looking. So if you know that this things, few words, few points of mine have helped you in any way to get some insight on what can actually make you money, please let me know in the comment section, because it encourages me to think of more things that I can tell you that will work for you that I have already experienced. Because if I feel like I'm not helping you, then I wouldn't be here, right? Now, before I go, I just want to say it's not only online things that can help you make money. Yeah, you can also do offline things. I know that there's some people in my class in uni that were tutoring other students that didn't understand certain topics. We'll pay them money and they'll teach us something that they are better knowledgeable at. So that's another thing you can do. If you know that you are good at something, you can teach people. Hosting tutorials without affecting your own academics is a good way for you to make some money at the side. Aside from hosting tutorials, you can also look for things to sell. Be a vendor, a food vendor, a jewelry vendor, all these small business ideas. You can do that. That's also another way for you to make money in uni. So I am talking about online because that's what I did. But that doesn't mean that you cannot do other things. I'm just giving you a holistic view on a lot of things you can do to make money online. Primarily talking from my own point of view, because that's what makes it different from the variety of videos you're going to be finding on YouTube about the same topic. And so, if you know that you want to see more ways that you can actually make money online, different topics explained, tutorials, whatnot, sectors, you also want to know better ways that you can be healthy, because if you're wealthy, you're not healthy, you use all the money to look after your health, and that's not a good thing. And you also want to know, how I do things in my life. My weird thoughts about life. I think you should subscribe to my channel because I'll be willing to share all of that with you every single week. And with that, I'll see you in my next one. Toodles.